What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about the top 5 short squeeze stocks that you need to add to your watch list going into this upcoming week. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So there was a couple big catalysts that did come out Sunday that should really push the market higher, and one is this right here. So Trump alluding to a $2,000 per person stimulus, and so this isn't going to be including high income people. And generally we've seen how the market reacts to stimulus, because 2020 transitioning to 2021, everything was going up like crazy. A lot of big institutions felt comfortable, so there was a big market rotation as well out of money markets back into equities. So this should be a pretty good catalyst once we get more kind of further clarification on this. Aside from that, one thing that's been looming over the broader market has largely been the shutdown, but it does look like there was a deal that was reached, and it looks like it was done last updated at 8:14 p.m. So generally this is going to be also another big catalyst that does really push the kind of market higher. So when it comes down to a lot of the stocks that I have selected, many of which have some good pre-existing momentum, and in many cases shorts are rather overextended, so it's going to be a very kind of a perfect transition going into this upcoming week. So make sure you guys add all of these to your watch list. Starting off with stock number 5, not in any particular order though, TERN sitting at 1847. Over the last 1 year, up 161%. Over the last 5 days, up roughly 31%. This is what they do. On a side note, so pharmaceuticals, 59 employees based out of good old Foster City. Currently, 18.6% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 10.3 million shares. So going into this upcoming week, it is for the most part at all-time high short interest numbers. So it recently did go from about 9.26 to where it is now. So shorts have really doubled and tripled down. One thing to take note of though is shares on loan is 7.1 million versus this right here. So it does signal that there's 10.36 million shares. So of course you have more shares being shorted than on loan. Very clear indication that there is some level of naked shorting happening. DTC is 5 days, so that does signal as well shorts are very overextended. That does factor in the average volume for this stock in comparison to number of shares being shorted. So this stock definitely could be very interesting. Cost to borrow is kind of on the low end, so 1.17%. That's an annual rate, not a daily rate. And then through IBKR, there's about 300,000 shares available. The reason why I bring that up is sometimes with stocks with limited supply, you could be seeing some buying from big institutions just for the purposes of lending out stock. So this is one stock to add to your watch list. Moving on to the next one, ticker is TGE. So this one is sitting at 120. It's been trading for less than 1 year, and so it looks like it started trading June the 5th. Hasn't really done that great. So for instance, over the last month is down 43%. So this one, as I've kind of mentioned already, most of the stocks have some good pre-existing momentum. This one seems to be a little bit more of the outlier, only because I wanted to bring this up. 92.51% of the free floats being shorted. So ultimately working out to be 1.34 million shares. If we kind of go over here, the free float is 1.45 million, but there's currently 3.12 million shares on loan. So almost triple the amount of the free float. So again, a very interesting and sketchy scenario is happening behind the scenes. Short score, higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening, is sitting at 81.19. So I think all in all, this stock, there's some sketchy stuff happening, and with the broader market really heating up, you could see a nice pinch with this one. So even though this stock doesn't really normally meet my criteria of having some good momentum, there's enough sketchiness happening behind the scenes to really prompt a push higher. Cost to borrow average is 273.62. Again, that's an annual rate, so that's pretty high though. And there's about 5,000 shares available to be shorted through IBKR. So most likely you'll be seeing some buying from big players this week. Moving on to the next one, ticker is MTC, sitting at 258. Over the last 1 year, down 16.6%, but over the last 5 days, up 380%. So this one's very hot. This is what they do. So application software, 34 employees, founded in Hong Kong. Right now, 7.54% of the free floats being shorted, works to be 1.9 million shares. Cost to borrow average, 1.34. We are sitting at pretty much the all-time high short interest numbers. So kind of crazy stuff. Short score is 74.8, and you can kind of see on a side note how shorts just completely doubled, tripled down. So they are trying their very best to slow the progress, but as I mentioned, just over the last 5 days, it is up 380%. So shorts are kind of failing. At the same time, they're putting themselves in a very sticky scenario where they could be kind of pinched out. Through IBKR, it does indicate roughly around 10,000 shares is available. So that, add this one to your watch list. Moving on, XMTR. So this stock is kind of a larger cap stock compared to some of the stocks I do normally cover on this type of video, but ticker XMTR, like I said, sitting at 64.81. I actually did post this on my Patreon as a buy signal for swing trades when it was at roughly around 41, and I did signal a exit at 68, I believe it is, so most likely we'll be hitting that. So again, if you're kind of curious, ever wanted to have some good kick-ass swing trades, ones that people don't generally talk about, pop over to there. And actually I did just recently start a new stacked account roughly around, I think, midway throughout the week last week, and I did put a $10 tier. So if you do want a lot of swing trades such as XMTR for $10 a month, definitely sign up. Link in the description below and also the comments. So massive bangers put out there. But nonetheless, this stock over the last 1 year, it is up 111%. Then over the last 5 days, up 33.85. So this stock is very hot. Still not on a lot of people's radar. So this one could be a interesting squeeze play. But this is what they do. So based out of the States, just shy of 1,100 employees, 12.99% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 5.7 million shares overall being shorted. Going into this upcoming week as well, though, the short interest, it went from about, looks like 8% to where it is now, just in the span of a month. So shorts have really been starting to throw more and more at it. Clearly it hasn't worked all too well because the stock has just been going higher. DTC though, this is a pretty good signal that shorts are massively overextended with this stock. So 7.6 days. So that does factor in, like I said, the average volume for the stock in comparison to number of shares being shorted. And then through IBKR, there's about 150,000 shares available. Cost to borrow is rather low. So this is kind of where you might not be seeing all that much in buying, only because, like I said, the cost to borrow is fairly low. But still, nonetheless, this stock has a lot of kick-ass momentum behind the scenes. So add this one to your watch list. And then last but not least, Beyond Meat. So this one was on my list last week. Regrettably, they did somehow, for whatever reason, they did push their earnings back, and that is Beyond Meat. So they did push their earnings back to this week to the 11th, sitting at $1.39. Over the last 1 year, down 76.2%, and then over the last 5 days, not really doing that great. It is down about 4.4%. In case you don't know what they do, this is it. So based out of the States, packaged foods and meats. Expectations for their earnings, it's very, very low. So negative 43 for the earnings per share, 69.7 million for the revenue. Over the last 90 days, 0 positive and 3 negative. So I think expectations, like I said, are just very, very low. So that could be a little bit of a positive, right? If Beyond Meat comes out and hits vaguely somewhat good numbers, but they give good future guidance, the market might take that as a very strong positive and really push higher. As well, over and above that, these two things I did bring up already at the beginning, so the stimulus and shutdown, that in among itself could just really push the stock price higher. 29.07% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 103.8 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average 4.2, so kind of on the low end. Short score is 68.5. Just on Friday alone, shorts did increase 6.06 million shares, increasing about 6.2%. So shorts have been trying to, again, slow the progress quite a lot, but there is about 4.4 million shares. So most likely you won't be seeing any buying just for the purposes of lending out any stock. So let me know your thoughts on these kind of 5. Is there any other squeeze plays that you feel could be on the table? I actually did put out a squeeze video as well on Saturday, but that was Ortex. So Ortex rarely does select what they feel as squeeze plays. So I do feel that the stocks that I did select, as per usual, will outperform what Ortex does select, only because of kind of my screeners and what I generally look at. So let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And as I mentioned, pop over to here, take advantage and sign up to the swing trade. Just put it for $10, and I'm only going to be having roughly around 30 members in this actual tier. So definitely pop over there and check that out. With that said, appreciate all of you watching.